Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, we're going to talk about the Star Wars that might have been. Rebel Moon.
Or the Star Wars that might be.
That might be?
Well, it might be like Star Wars. It's supposed to be like Star Wars.
Right. It's going to be very interesting either way. It's coming to Netflix on December 22nd, and I heard Netflix threw money at him. Just, here, what do you need? What do you need? Give your money. Gotcha. To kind of just let him do his dream. Because this project has been, like, decades in the making.
Yeah. I know a lot of this story, so I made a video about this several months back at this point, I think, about Rebel Moon in general.
Yeah, I know there's been the first trailer, which was not much shown, and then they did a behind-the-scenes Netflix thing, and there was a little more interesting things shown. A lot of, yeah, of course, behind the scenes, but you could see characters, you could kind of see locations, a little tidbits,
yeah, a little more
this
taste
and
of
that.
it.
Well, we know back when Lucasfilm was acquired by Disney in 2012, they said, hey, we're making the episodes, and we want to do some spin-off films, and that opened the door for filmmakers to, if they wanted to try to pitch a Star Wars story, they came out of the woodwork, and they would pitch. We know John Knoll, he pitched a story that would eventually become Rogue One. Guillermo del Toro wanted to make a Jabba the Hutt kind of Godfather movie.
Okay.
One of the proposals Lucasfilm received was from Zack Snyder. The story was based on something he'd been working on for quite some time. It was kind of mulling around in his head, never made it to the stage of actually developing it. When Star Wars kind of said, nah, Netflix was like, yeah, we'll take it. What's it called? Rebel Moon? Doesn't sound like Star Wars at all. We'll take it.
Well, it kind of does.
I know. It's.
I mean, it's...
That's no moon,
That's
Rebel.
no moon. It's a Rebel Moon?
Yeah. The film actually has been split into 2 parts already. It's no longer just going to be one Rebel Moon. There are now 2 of them.
Sounds like The Hobbit all over again. Just make like 3 of them out of that book.
They realized that the story was too big for one installment. And that's already been shot. The first part comes out December 22nd, as we said. It's going to follow a character named Korra, a merging leader of a group of outcasts and refugees on a farmer-populated moon that circles a gas giant. They are rebelling against the authoritarian Imperium.
Okay.
Okay, sounds a little episode 4-y, huh?
40? Yeah, a gas giant on a moon? Yeah, surrounding it, I mean... Yeah, sounds a little Yavin-ish to me.
One of the reasons we're talking about Rebel Moon is the newest Empire magazine that came out. It's focusing on the movie event type thing. I don't know what to call it now. There's 2 parts. It's already split.
It's just a movie event.
They did talk with Schneider about his pitching this to Lucasfilm and how he kind of knew it wasn't going to fly with the studio. He said, the sale of Lucasfilm to Disney had just happened. There was that window where, who knows what's possible. I was like, I don't want any of your characters. I don't want to do anything with any known characters. I just want to do my own thing on the side. And originally I was like, it should be rated R. And that was almost a non-starter.
That was where they lost. I was just going to say, that's probably where they lost him. They're never going to do R in a movie anyway.
Andor's the closest they've come.
Yeah, I was going to say, Andor is kind of close to R-ish, I think. And I could see on Disney Plus maybe flirting with that line, but never in the theater. Never.
Never. Especially for them just acquiring the company, and how soon could they have gotten this out and be like, hey, between episodes 7 and 8, here's Rebel Moon.
Yeah, it's an R-rated...
People are like, what? Is that Star Wars?
Yeah.
He did add he realized once he started developing his idea further that it just wasn't a good fit for the Star Wars galaxy. He said, I knew it was a big ask, to be honest, but the deeper I got into it, I realized it was probably never going to be what I wanted if he made it Star Wars.
Yeah, well, you have to, in theory, you have to play by the universe's rules, right?
Yeah. So he did get what he wanted eventually through Netflix. This deal he made with them gives him the freedom to explore any idea he has with the gloves off.
I mean, for him, that's got to be nice. If you want to play in the Star Wars universe, then, as I've talked about before, especially recently...
Yeah, you did.
Then come play in the universe and do it right.
But you have to follow the rules of the universe.
Exactly, or don't do it. Go do your own thing. I'm more than... You can do whatever the hell you want in your own universe, and people
sometimes that's just better.
Yeah, because people have no preconceived notions of what it even should be.
He's not constrained to fit into characters and lore and history of... he doesn't have to follow by any of those rules. He gets total freedom to invent his own universe. what could be better than that, you'd think.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you can want to play in the Like I said, if you want to go play in the Star Wars universe and do it by the rules, that's great. But if you don't, then yeah, absolutely go do your own thing.
He told Vanity Fair last month that he was excited that it's going to be up on Netflix so that anyone can just watch it and enjoy it. You're not going to be strapped to going to the theater or paying any extra for it. I think that's actually part of the reason theaters are dying is streaming.
I think there's it's a lot of things. I mean, that would be a fun weekend ramble, I think, to discuss it, because I think there are actually a lot of factors. And I know there are other people who have their theories, and not just me coming to the realization of why the theaters are dying, but yeah.
He's also already stated that at an unspecified date, he will release a recut of Rebel Moon, a harder-edged version of the movie. He says, I think for fans of mine and people who are ready to take a deeper, harder dive, that'll be fun for them.
Well, he's already got a special edition. He's well on his way to being the next Star Wars.
It's like the Justice League, the Snyder cut.
I forgot about that,
How we got the recut of the way he envisioned it, and I felt like it was leagues better than what we were given.
I enjoyed it more. I don't know if it's... I mean, I think you could debate whether or not it's
quote-unquote
the story
felt more
better.
cohesive because you got more of that dark side.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more. I don't know if it was better. That's
Instead of just having the big bad guy, spiky head guy, you kind of got more of a story.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
Yeah, I like I said, I enjoyed it more, certainly, the Snyder Cut.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this is definitely a good idea not to be in Lucasfilm's hands because he had this whole thing in his head. It doesn't fit in the sandbox. The rating doesn't jive with what they want. And like you said, let a filmmaker who wants to write something new. I mean, yes, he does have laser swords in there, not lightsabers, but there are laser swords.
You call them some saber lights or
but
something.
But why not?
Yeah.
I mean, technology in the future, who knows? I mean, how many different shows or animated projects have some sort of a lightsaber type sword? I mean, it's just a cool idea.
It is.
Mm-hmm. I was excited that he actually got the chance to move forward with his project. The released version that he's going to be coming out with on Netflix is starting out as PG-13 because he wants to share it with more people, but that's why he's already announced he's going to have the harder-edged version coming. Yeah. So you can see kind of his extended cut, his more graphic cut, one could say.
Well, he did make 300, so...
He did. 300 was good. He also made Watchmen.
Oh, yeah, well, he knows how to do violence, yeah.
He knows how to make that dark violence
I forgot he did Watchmen,
really can go over very well.
Yeah, I can.
So it's nice. I mean, while we're waiting for the next Star Wars movie, we will have a not Star Wars, but kind of Star Wars film to look forward to coming in December.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see it because I won't have to watch it going, oh, that breaks the lore, that doesn't fit.
No, you get to watch it
and just
experience the universe he wants to create. And he's already said he has so many stories in the universe he's making.
Well, maybe it'll catch on.
Yeah. Instead of the Star Wars YouTube channel will be
the Rebel Moon channel.
Which Welcome still sounds like Star Wars.
Rebel Moon.
I get to stay pretty much the same.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to...
Sailor Rebel.
No, I mean, I highly doubt that'll happen, but
we're going to talk about it because this is so related to Star Wars, both what it could have been and what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's obviously going to have some parallels just by reading the brief synopsis. It looks very interesting.
Just the name Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon.
Something about it immediately sounds like
I wonder
if
that was the working title he always imagined. He's like, yeah, we're going with it.
It's a strange title. I mean, because it's so like
it's
Star
about
Wars.
A moon that's rebelling.
Well, sure, but here's the thing: if he's already got other stories, I don't mean to like judge it or criticize it, but if he's already got other stories, you would have thought he would have came up with something more universal. Because Star Wars is like that could mean anything. Mm-hmm. Such a grandiose name.
Well,
but Rebel Moon implies like this one little event in your grandiose.
Well, some things aren't named
universe.
After their whole universe. I mean, my favorite author. One of my favorite authors, Terry Goodkind. The first book in the series is Wizard's First Rule, but it's called the Sword of Truth series.
Well, sure. But you know what I'm saying. Like, usually, when you're doing a film like that, usually you're trying to set the stage and you're trying to get your universe... Well, not usually. It's not like this happens every...
I mean, the MCU aren't all labeled MCU this, MCU that.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, sometimes you just have an overarching title. I mean, eventually this universe will get some sort of a name and... whatever, and it could be called, Rebels versus Imperium, or who knows.
Yeah,
he'll come up with some sort of he's probably got some in mind, and we'll figure that out along the way. If indeed he does get the freedom to keep telling stories, as long as Netflix keeps, as long as Netflix is like, yeah, we like what you're doing, I'm sure they'll finance him to continue. This is helping their platform.
And sometimes things get the wrong name or the unintended name, like Game of Thrones. It's a Song of Ice and Fire. That's what the series is called.
Right.
You can always tell when you're talking to somebody who's actually read the books because they will know that.
What I think is interesting is if this turns out well for Netflix, this is their Star Wars. This is their Star Wars made for a new generation. If this does go over very well, and Snyder has more projects in line, having a big franchise to say is yours is kind of cool.
I don't know that like one success. It takes more than.
But I'm saying this is the beginning.
I get what you're saying.
This is the first step.
I'm just curious what he's like basing it off of, and I talked about this way back in the video I did because I think I was asked basically, do I think this could replace Star Wars? And I don't know that he's got like the same kind of concept for Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is based off of
history and.
Well, yeah, it's based off a lot of things, but you know, way down there at the core, you have the kind of the selfless versus the selfish. Talk about it all the time. You know, it's not really about even the rebels versus the Empire as much as it's about what's even deeper than that. I'm just curious, does he have like a deeper concept under it all, or is he just kind of more on the surface of?
I feel like in other projects he's done, he goes deeper.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope.
Adapting Watchmen was a very deep project, and he definitely gave it, I think, a lot of the gravitas it deserved.
Yeah.
Same with Watchmen Same with 300.
No, I'm just curious if there's more to it. If it's just kind of this more surface level kind of story of it, Rebel versus Empire, which has been done 100 times, 1,000 times before.
Yeah, it's a magical formula to get the right amount of depth, the right amount of big concept, I guess you could say, or heart and stuff, and make it flashy and enjoyable for people as well.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm.
It has to have that rewatchability. That every time you watch it, you have such a great time, and it's not stalling out on you. Sometimes movies do that on rewatching. It's sad.
Yeah. Sometimes you really enjoy a movie and you watch it again and you're like, I really enjoyed this. No, I'm excited for this, and I'm hoping there's something deeper to it. That there is some real
rather than just some surface level
war
war type thing. You want to see what's going on underneath in this world. How does it function? The machinations of everybody.
Yeah. Does it have its own philosophy underneath?
Does it have a Luthen rail?
But you know what I'm saying. Like anybody can make a story about Empire versus Rebels, and not everybody can make something that has a true meaning to it, I guess you could say. And I'm not even talking like political or any of that garbage.
We'll begin to find that out on December 22nd on Netflix. And then we'll tell you guys what we think.
We'll definitely be probably reviewing it that day. I'm sure we'll watch it immediately.
No, it depends if I'm working.
Yeah, you can take the day off.
Yeah, so you say.
Well, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it before then too, here and there.
Right, there's got to be another trailer coming up, probably a more substantial trailer, and maybe we'll do a trailer talk on it.
Yeah, probably.
I do enjoy those. They can turn into anything.
Well, most of our videos kind of go off the rails, but
yeah, that Craven one though, that was gold. I loved it.
I can point to a lot of videos we've done that just afterwards we're like, it was really weird, but I think people are going to enjoy it.
Sometimes people enjoy the random.
Yeah, I think that's why they're here. But for now, that's all we got for you this time. So now it's your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think about Rebel Moon. Are you excited for this? Have you been keeping up? Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below and let's talk some Moon.
Snyder.
And until next time, thanks for watching.